Yeah.
Wait, is Bernie Sanders a communist?
Yeah,
Actually, everybody who's not a Republican kind of fits in that box nowadays.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Does this
Killing
mean I'm
babies.
an Antifa Nazi?
Might just be.
Wait.
Our 6th episode is going to be a live podcast on election night, so next Tuesday, please tune in and enjoy the inevitable destruction of the Western civilized world with us on Twitch, YouTube, or Periscope. It'll be fun to have you. We got a lot of shit to talk about today, boys. Have we seen the Borat 2 clip that went viral a couple of days ago?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that what the kids say, viral? Are they still using that?
Viral.
My left stroke just went viral.
So we give some context before that of what happened. So
Yeah,
basically,
sure.
they invited Rudy Giuliani, former mayor of New York, Trump's current lawyer,
America's mayor.
to have an interview, and it was with Borat's daughter, the actress Maria something. And so she's flirting with him the whole time during the interview. There's a genius setup when Borat pretends to be the sound guy, and he's like, "No, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so brilliantly done. So then basically coming on to him, and then she's like, "Do you want to have a drink in the bedroom?" And then they go, and immediately Rudy Giuliani is sticking his hands down his pants.
Well, let's also preface, and maybe I could be wrong, but to my
Yeah.
knowledge, he believed that she was 15.
Yeah.
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 He believed that he was being, who takes an interview with a 15-year-old?
Okay. Well,
I'm 22, and if a 15-year-old tried to interview me, I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?"
like the crazy thing is there's a backstory even past that, but I want to riff on what Akil just said for a moment, so I'll let everybody get their say in.
I mean, not much to say other than
I guess the clip
that,
speaks for
'cause-
itself. Yeah.
Right.
You
So-
really you just recited the clip back, which I guess helps. But if our
Yeah.
listeners have seen the clip, that was kind of just wasted time. The added I thought you were gonna give this context.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna talk about how she met Rudy Giuliani. The way that
Oh,
she
I didn't
met
know
Rudy
this.
Giuliani is the actual secret hidden gem of all of this.
So I didn't know that he already had believed she was 15. I thought because I
didn't explicitly know that either until
Yeah.
you said it.
So
Right.
I could be partially inaccurate on that, but
Yeah.
from what I have read, which could also be,
I've seen
yellow journalism,
allegations
but-
to that level, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen that on video. So like the video doesn't. I don't see Rudy Giuliani asking, "How old are you?" and her saying 15. Like it's not like a Chris
Sure,
Hansen
sure.
situation. You know.
Sure.
Either way, when somebody asks you for a drink, I don't think that's synonymous with whip it out.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah,
The
that
really
that
weird
was the
thing was
more.
he
yeah.
did the conservative thing. I don't know why. Like he did the conservative thing where he told a half truth, right? Like he was like, "Oh no, she was just helping me take the mic off." Yeah, no, she was helping you take the mic off, which is why you untucked your shirt and then you lied down on the bed while she hovered over you. Apparently, this person you allegedly thought was 15, who is you've clearly understood is not an American national and is like a foreign national who is posing as a conservative journalist, legitimately or illegitimately. In this case,
Yeah.
illegitimately. And in that case, why would you ever be in that position? Like, why would you lie down fully in a bed on a hidden camera prank situation?
Well, that's my
just-
beef with the situation. It's not
Why would
the
you drink with a
conservative thing to
15-year-old?
do because Trump is much more of a grabber. And Giuliani is clearly more of a sit down and take it kind of a guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
we gotta go Jordan Lee Peterson or whatever. Not Jordan Lee Peterson.
Jordan B.
No. Jesse Lee Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beta, a real man. Nah.
So here's the deal. They can do literally whatever he wants. They could actually have Rudy Giuliani on camera fucking a 15-year-old, and nothing's gonna be done about it. All they have to do is, it's very obvious that he wasn't trying to take off any equipment, which was, I think, their response to the whole thing.
Well, he did take off his mic, but
yeah, but this whole
what
thing
he
about,
did after that was all after
yeah,
the
it was
mic
very
problem
obvious.
was done.
No,
Like,
yeah, obvious.
Right, he was
you can
unbuckling
leave.
his
Why are you
belt.
going into a back room? Why are you going to a second location with this underage woman?
Right.
Right? And why do you have drinks in your hand? Right?
Right.
Why is she standing over you while you're laying down in your bed with your hand down your pants with something clearly like I don't know if it was just cuz the top button was unbuttoned, but something about
whatever he was trying to do.
There was some situation going on.
He was
where
taking-
We don't want to. There was something going on that nobody in America wants to imagine, or he was just tucking his shirt in. And either way, it's pretty suspect, especially if you thought that she was 15. But there's more added context that we can add to it.
Well, what I was gonna say is that it really doesn't matter, as long as his base, as Trump people, whoever Rudy Giuliani supporters are, as long as they have some sort of truth or alternative facts. I think alternative facts is literally the best word for this to hold on to.
Yeah, it is.
Then that's all that matters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're right.
When Trump was caught in 2006 with Billy Bush.
Yeah.
You know, he had his locker room talk excuse. And as
Yeah.
long as he has that line, has that response on hand, it doesn't matter.
But that's also why Trump has been failing recently, because he hasn't had like a lot of Trump's like rebuttals to things now have like two layers of like you have to buy into this premise and then you have to buy into this premise and then you understand the mythos of like the Donald Trump cult, right? And that's a lot harder for people to understand.
Right.
So I feel like average people are more kind of isolated from like the very deep evangelical roots, as long as it doesn't come through based on religion.
Right.
But you're definitely right in that no Trump supporter, because I don't think Rudy Giuliani supporters exist. Like if you're an actual Giuliani supporter in New York City, you're insane, and you're probably also a multi-millionaire or billionaire.
True.
Okay,
Right.
so like fuck
it just
you,
has to
and
do
you're
with
not
Trump.
listening to this podcast.
Right.
So fuck
So-
you twice.
At worst, on the reflection of terms of this election or anything meaningful,
Yeah.
all it does is, all right, Rudy Giuliani, people can be like, oh, he's probably a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with Trump.
It's not going to dissuade any people from voting
Yeah.
the way that they already are. It's the good thing in my mind, and I thought this based on the conversation that Fazal and I had. On the last podcast, you said something inevitably will come up in Trump's favor closer to the election. We're 1 week away now. So like this being like
God.
something that looks bad on Trump is actually, it's kind of pivotal. It won't in the numbers necessarily show because early voting is so high and there's going to be so many shenanigans going on November 3rd itself, right? It could take weeks to count those votes. We don't know. They don't know. So ultimately this is going to be a hell of a shit show, and it'll be really fun being on live stream with all of y'all.
When the riots break out.
Yeah, when the
Oh.
riots.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things wrong with the situation. One, how did your shirt get untucked?
Yeah.
You definitely weren't just tucking in your shirt. Like, on the most innocent level, you were rearranging your balls, which, like, as men, that's got to happen.
Yeah, maybe
sometimes.
it's stuck to your leg or something.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
there's a meta to it, okay?
Sure.
You don't just lie down, a woman in front of you. Let me untuck my ball.
Hey, what's up,
Literally.
dude?
Yeah, like, and not to mention the fact that, like, if I was a bartender.
Yeah.
How are you a grown man and a 15-year-old offers you drinks and you're like, this is totally okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
as someone who's been in politics and who is currently in the limelight or whatever you want to call it of this administration, you should know
Yeah.
that is like a trap.
And this is what
Like-
this brings me to, man. Like, it was you should know it's a trap. And the best part about it is how they supposedly like met, how this actually happened. Because this is filmed found footage style. Like Borat is filmed kind of not found footage, but like, you know what I mean? It's like prank TV.
Sure,
if
yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like
street
this is
pranks.
America.
Yeah, basically. And it's all very subversive in that nature. But in this case, they went through the NRA and they got Maria Bakalova, who is this 24-year-old actress who's playing this 15-year-old daughter of the Borat character. And the whole premise of the movie, apparently, I haven't seen it, is that he has to he's disgraced in his home country now because the movie became famous and he disgraced their country. And so the way that he has to appease all of these people who hate him is take his daughter and get her married to, quote, someone in line to the throne. That's a statement in the trailer. And so this is what they used for promo is actually an integral part of the storyline of the movie. But I guess that's not why you're watching Borat anyways. You're watching it for the crudeness and the
Skeet,
jokes.
skeet, bang, bang.
Yeah. They got in through the NRA to Trump's prayer bruncheon. His I don't know if it was an Easter thing, but it was an evangelical prayer brunch or something like that at the White House. Okay? And so she was there was kind of like there already, talked to Giuliani, set up the interview for later, and then this happened. So the best part is it shows you how manipulating the dark money connection can bring you up the chain. It's not about meritocracy at all, right? It's literally all about whether you are able to be a mouthpiece.
Right.
It's crazy. The idea that that's how this happened is like just
Well, and it's clear from the video, Giuliani was looking for a mouthpiece.
yeah. Yeah. Very clear.
What do you guys think what do you think is going to happen as a result? Do you think any effects are going to
I
happen?
think
No.
literally nothing.
Nah, nothing.
It's literally
I will say this.
everything at this point is just every side digging their heels in.
I think that he's going to have to forever live with that embarrassment because he knows what he did deep down.
That's gonna be a forever classic.
Yeah, he
movie.
can deny it publicly, and that's probably the best PR move. But he knows, his wife knows
Yeah.
what he was doing. You think his wife is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, he was definitely doing that."
Hey, Mike Pence's wife would definitely say that. I'm sure Mike
You mean
Pence's
his,
wife forces Mike Pence to wear a chastity belt when he goes out in front of other women.
Yeah, probably.
It fits the mold.
Sorry,
She
my
probably
mom
just
made
made him
me.
cut
I
it
mean,
off.
my wife made me.
Just to be safe, let's just snip that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the case of Rudy, though, like, he embarrasses himself every other day. So
Oh yeah, whenever he goes on Fox News, sometimes I watch it just
He went
because
unhinged.
he's actually insane.
But I don't think so. I don't think he's
no,
insane.
no. I think he knows how to use a media, but I think a big part of it is
He's-
like portraying himself as a
Yeah.
fucking blubbering maniac.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, this is the Steve Bannon approach. What happened is after Trump sort of, and this is what I've always said, is that Trump intuitively understands how truth is, or not, I don't want to say truth. That's a wrong word, but I want to say truth, sort of in quotes. The idea of how you spread information, he understands this to a T. He knows how to brand things. He knows how to spread information, even if it's disinformation. I believe that Bannon.
I don't think it's just them that understand it. I think they understand how to manipulate the already existing ecosystem of dark-wing
Right.
money.
I mean, it's a combination of both. Right?
Yeah, and this is
So-
why I say like there's no global conspiracy of any kind because there are too many separate actors working for different goals for
Right.
everything to be under one grand conspiracy. The
Right.
grand conspiracy you see is just capital at work.
Yep.
It is what happens when capital is accumulated and what your interests become when you have more money than you know how to deal with.
Right. It's actually a central tenet of like Marxism is like to like understand that things like the Illuminati and these sort of conspiracy theories that people develop, oh, this secret society or this secret society, or in the Nazis' case, the Jewish cabal or something like that.
Which is exactly what globalism is.
Yeah.
Let's just say it
Oh,
honestly.
yeah, absolutely.
Globalism is just a dog whistle for like rich Jewish bankers.
Right.
That's literally what it means.
There's a book that I read.
It's like
called,
Nazi agitprop. So
Um,
if you believe that shit, if you believe shit about the globalists, if you say the word globalist,
Yep.
rethink that shit
Yep.
if you're listening. To this.
You know who the enemy was in Nazi Germany?
Oh, yeah.
Read this book called Wages of Destruction. They talk about. They actually put like this approach to it. It was the American Jews. America, which was the source of Hollywood during the 1920s,
Yeah.
right?
And
Roaring
they
20s.
still talk about Hollywood. They still use a dog whistle.
So during, right prior to Nazi Germany's like rise, America was going through the Roaring 20s, where parties were happening. It was considered like this really extravagant place to be, and it was affecting the cultural values of Germany heavily. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we're starting to speak English. Oh my gosh, we're starting to wear these American clothes, and so people were upset about that, and that sort of. Oh, this American sort of, it's very esoteric. It's not supposed to be specific because if you draw specifics, then the whole theory falls apart.
yeah.
So it's like,
they also blamed it on Judeo-Bolshevism.
yeah, Judeo-Bolshevism. It's
Yeah.
like this whole thing, right? It's like
The idea was like
postmodern-
rich Jews from the USSR like ruining the German economy.
Right.
And
Yep.
they've
It wasn't
systematically
the
done
USSR.
it.
Bolshevism was
Right.
like everywhere. American
The
sort of
dangerous
considered
part about the
Bolshevists at the
right
time.
is it's so alienated from the actual context of facts and like
Yeah.
actually doing research
Right.
and understanding the full scope of a situation that Trump can say something that like is tangential to like a left-wing talking point and leftists like in air quotes
Yeah.
will be like compelled by it.
Right.
And on some level, I understand like the entertainment value of a Trump, but the talking points of it are just Nazi agitprop.
Right,
Like I can
absolutely.
never understand how you can go from a Bernie voter who believed in Bernie for the policy to
Right.
becoming a Trump voter for his policy. It makes no
Right.
sense.
So it comes down to them creating some sort of esoteric enemy, and that's why things like the Illuminati exist. They want to believe that the powers that control our society are beyond our reach.
Yeah.
When in reality, we can explain everything through some sort of like dark money lens, right? That things are always it's a result of capital and the way capital flows and where influence flows along with capital. So
It's a byproduct for sure.
Yeah. And people, I mean, this is a very intuitive truth, but people will start making things like a Jewish cabal or a postmodern neo-Marxism or some sort of
It's a way to project your fear and your paranoia
Globalism.
onto something that objectively you will never come face to face with.
Yeah.
And that's the really odd thing about ideologies, and that's why I don't like talking that much about ideologies that I believe in, because as soon as you espouse an ideology, there's now like a dogma that you associate yourselves with. And I'm just not a fan of that. Like to me there's room intellectually to be anywhere on the spectrum. Like we should just be intellectually honest and talk in good faith.
and then you'll naturally arrive at the proper conclusions, I believe.
Well,
That's
and kind of what you guys were talking about with the whole idea of why people feed into things like conspiracy theories is because there's like a diffusion of responsibility, you know, because it's a much easier conversation to say the world order killed JFK than our own government.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a totally different reality.
Yeah.
And it's a lot scarier to know that your own government, the people you pay taxes to, will literally kill anybody who gets in their way.
Yeah.
You know, and so
That's a really good
It's a really good point actually.
Yeah.
So it seems the ultra male vitality pills for the both of you guys are working well.
I honestly can't tell the difference.
Let me pull a Giuliani real quick and check.
oh god, we do have this on film as well.
Just whatever you do, don't stand up.
Well, yeah, dude,
don't stand up. Okay. He may or may not be wearing any pants right now. Okay. I will neither confirm nor deny, and hopefully he will say nothing and plead the fifth.
Yeah, he is kind of dressed like a Brit, and you know those British people are kind of freaky.
I was just adjusting my mic. Oh wait.
It's really interesting to me that like conservative disinformation relies very heavily on like the narratives and like the pseudo mythology, like the modern like mythology of, you know, oh, Trump is like this underdog in the government working against the deep state who are satanic pedophile rapists and you know, yada yada. Like everything exists to explain away why the so-called leader of the free world claims that he has no power over his own country and like blames everything on everyone else whenever things go wrong. And it's really just interesting to see how many people don't think about anything that they hear from him. It's just in one ear and now it's the thing.
Yeah. So ironic.
It's doctrine.
It's so
gospel.
ironic the fact that so many people on the right will claim that people on the left or who just aren't right are snowflakes, but it's like literally everything your politicians speak to you is just pathos. There is literally no logic or reasoning behind it. Yeah. And so it's like you can call anybody a snowflake, but you're the one who's being emotionally manipulated.
1,000%. Yes. Honestly, most of conservatism now is like projection because you can't just like unironically be a traditionalist. It's very difficult to come down to that observation just by yourself unless like you're sheltered in an environment to believe that. Honestly, it's the issue with conservative thought comes down to there is a mythology in everything, right? You have to believe in the meritocracy. You have to believe that political parties are operating in the best interest of something. You have to believe that taxes are inherently immoral, or you know the military getting the majority of our budget to the point where like we have the biggest military in the world and we don't need to spend like the majority of that money. Thinking that that's okay, or calling everything communism. Those things are okay because words don't mean anything. Yeah. They're just defined in completely wonky ways to them, and that then becomes the realm of misinformation. That's what things like PragerU, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, that's all that they do. They obfuscate. That's all that their job is doing. Their job is to, especially Dave Rubin, is to act like he is of the left and that what he's really doing is running interference for right-wing talking points. Yep. He's platforming right-wing people and then being, oh, but what about this? There's this... If I had to translate what he's saying, if Akil is Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder, God forbid, you know, what Dave Rubin is doing is so I heard this talking point, with a lot of high level ideas the other day. It happened. It had to do with race and IQ.
Well, it logically follows that the African American cultures did not develop the Western value system. And see, it's the Judeo-Christian values that built the West the way it was. That's why Europe was such a civilized society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had Stephen Molyneux on the show the other week, and he was talking about something similar to this. He also added, and I'd like to get your take on this, Ben. He also added that he feels like the number of single parent homes is the major thing that we need to fix, not systemic racism. He agrees with us that systemic racism is a myth.
Of course, well, because it logically follows the race. It's not a simple thing. There's only 3 things you need to do. Okay, get a job, don't get pregnant, and what was that third? What was that third one?
Praise God.
And praise God. Yeah.
Yeah. Believe in our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
You know, not to mention the fact that like these things are heavily skewed with education levels and income levels. But
Yeah.
you do these 3 things and you'll be fine. You won't be. And so like, like,
And obviously, you said earlier the solution to climate change is what?
just move. Yeah.
Yeah, move.
Just move.
Yeah. Okay, bit over. We're not doing any more of that insufferable Dave Rubin bit. All I'm trying to say is to be able to do this is and to keep it honest and to independently do it allows you to say things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to say on popular shows.